All right, hello everybody. Justin Stivers here. Thank you guys for tuning in for the Stivers show. Very excited. This is a first in the short history of this show. I've got several guests. Very excited. One of my guests, Miss Bethany Martinez, is a repeat guest. So very excited. Bethany is President-Elect of the Miami Association of Realtors (YPN). We've got Mr. Peter Ortega, the current president, and the well-known Mr. Kevin Puricelli with the Miami Association of Realtors. So very excited to have you guys on here today.
Thank you for having us.
So, we're talking, with everything going on, coronavirus, and so I think it made sense to have you all on here because you guys are at the forefront of this, doing a lot of really cool things, both in terms of the association and trying to keep realtors engaged, trying to keep young realtors engaged. Obviously, our world has changed drastically, but there's still business being done, just maybe in different ways. And I know, like I said, Bethany, you're doing a walkthrough at the end of this, so clearly stuff's going on. So I want to touch on that and maybe talk a little bit about advice and recommendations you have for realtors. And then, like I said, the association, the YPN, is doing a lot of great stuff, which all of you are doing a fantastic job. So, maybe just to kind of start, maybe we'll just start with Peter. What are you kind of what's your kind of sense out there? How are you? And I'll maybe ask each of you, but how are you trying to maintain some sense of normalcy with everything going on?
So this actually ties in pretty well with our book club that Bethany is leading. The most important thing for our members is to have a business plan, right? Have a plan that you're going to follow. What is your schedule? That's the second thing. So first, have a plan. Secondly, have a schedule. The third thing that I would advise any realtor is hire a coach or find yourself an accountability partner that's actually going to hold your feet to the fire. Right. Those are going to be the three things that I would suggest any realtor in today's landscape that they do immediately, because without a plan and without a schedule, you're just not going to do what you're supposed to. Yeah. And that's what's going to differentiate you from another successful. That's how it's going to differentiate a successful agent versus one that isn't, right? Is someone that's actually still doing all the activities.
And do you think that was definitely relevant before, but even more so relevant right now, hiring a coach, coming up with a business plan, and not just kind of, running around wherever, the next text message comes from?
Absolutely. So one of the things that everyone keeps talking about is cut your expenses, right? I'm a huge proponent of looking at your business and personal expenses and cutting wherever you can. However, it doesn't mean that you start cutting corners. Sure. Having a coach is probably the best investment that you can make in yourself. And so, I don't think that a secret agent or someone who's just waiting for the phone to ring is actually going to be in this business once the economy reopens.
Yeah. And Kevin, I know we were talking a little bit before about you guys, the YPN was doing some sort of mastermind group. Can you tell us a little bit about that? You're on mute. Let me. There we go.
You muted yourself again.
Not next Monday, but the Monday after, or no, the next Monday. Sorry, this is pre-recorded. So yeah, next Monday we are actually going to have our next mastermind. You'll see some marketing out for us. I think the thing to promote here is, while physically we must remain distant, socially we've never been closer, and there's that need for communication and collaboration still. So find those creative ways to be that platform and to connect different people together. For me, obviously, it's other realtors. But for the agent, it might be a junk removal company, it might be a power washer. Getting the companies that are getting the listing ready can be the good business partners to have right now, because they're the ones that are going to potentially see the new listings come on the market before they actually have the realtor. So always be that link between the two. That's what we got to be doing, and that's what this mastermind class kind of does. Obviously, you're allowed to share different ideas and everything else, and grows a community. We had some really good collaborations and some ideas yesterday, and I can't wait to see how people take them into their business for the next few weeks, and how we're able to build off that coming up this coming Monday.
How many people were in the mastermind?
Well, we had probably over 50 different people register. People were in and out. But I think for our first mastermind, that was a pretty good number.
Yeah.
And you got to realize when things get a little big, you lose a little bit of the intimacy. So it was really an intimate, powerful conversation we were able to hold together with our members yesterday.
Very cool. So you, Peter, you had mentioned Bethany's book club. What is that, Bethany? Oh, wait, hold on. Did I have everyone mute? There we go.
Hi.
Oh, sorry, I don't know if I had everyone muted. There we go. Everyone.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we started a book club. This is the book, 15 Ways to Grow Your Business in Every Economy. And it's a very interesting title. I was actually cleaning out my apartment prior to moving my home office and getting it all set up. And I got this book at a Florida Realtors convention in August, like about maybe 2 years ago. And the author talks about different ways to make sure your business is strong and healthy. And she basically calls it recession proof, right? And it's back to basics. It's a very small book. We're going through the chapters quite easily. But just like Peter said, it touches on really having a business plan, but also when things change, you have to change your business plan with it. It talks about the benefits of being a small business owner. I would say, you know, when you're realtors or attorneys, unless you have a very large practice or a large brokerage, we are still considered small business owners, and we're able to be more agile when certain things happen. We're able to change and meet the needs of our clients a lot faster. And she talks about all those things in the book. It's an easy book. It's almost like a workbook too, so we're able to ask each other questions. And I thought it'd be fun to just go through it with a group of people because it allows us to engage. But overall, I'm really excited about it. We're getting really good feedback, and we're doing it on Mondays at 5. But we'll be done soon because it is a small book. So we'll probably have like about 2 or 3 more meetings, and then we'll get through it. But we encourage everybody to buy it and read along with us. It's a very easy read.
So it's, you know, I know you're the incoming president-elect and Peter, current president of the YPN. Is this, it sounds like what you guys are doing and what the YPN is doing and focus on is really, which I'm a huge, you know, proponent of and fan of, is don't just be, you know, a realtor, right? You're a business, right? You've got to operate, you know, while you are, you know, maybe a one-person shop doing everything, you still got to kind of treat it as a business. And is that, you know, I guess Bethany, you know, is that something you think, is there a push in the YPN itself to, you know, kind of get younger realtors to see themselves like that? And maybe is that different than what more of our seasoned realtors are accustomed to doing?
Yeah, well, we are encouraging our members to actually be working on their business throughout this time, before, after. There's so many things that you can be working on to better yourself as an individual, because we are our business. You know, our business operates by us showing up daily. So we're really just working on all aspects of being a business owner. And then there's community involvement and us coming together and really educating each other. We're sharing our experiences. We're going through the challenges together. And I think that's like what our main focus is now, just actually focusing on our members and how they can be better to come out of this stronger. So every time we meet, we talk about so many things, but really we do try to focus on, like, there's still so many things you can do. Just because maybe for certain people business has slowed down, that just means it's opening up more opportunity for work on the back end of your business. Everybody needs to be working right now, whether you're still helping your clients meet their needs or you're actually working on being a better business person. And I think that's what we've been focusing on during this time with our members.
Yeah, and Peter, what do you, you know, to piggyback off of that a little bit, what do you, you know, would you recommend to some of these realtors who, you know, in my own profession and other businesses, you know, that I'm speaking with, some of them are, it seems like they're just like waiting. And I'm like, you know, what are you waiting for? Like, now you may not be able to do your core business, but you can still be working and doing work, getting your name out. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. So one thing I do want to clarify, one thing you kind of alluded to is that YPN is geared towards younger people. And in truth is that our membership has, you know, ranges from young 18s all the way up to, I don't know, Kevin could probably clarify, closer to 60s, 70s. We will take anyone in Miami into our Miami YPN family, so long as they feel young at heart. So I do want to make sure that we're putting that out there, right? Anyone could be a YPN member. One of the things that my personal coach has actually told me on multiple occasions, Andrea Leslie is my personal coach, is that during this shift, because we're currently in a shifting market, this shifting market is actually exposing three things for all of us. Number one, it's what's your skill set? Are you practicing your scripts? Are you what are your lead generating habits? And then thirdly, your mindset. I think right now a lot of people are sitting in the sidelines waiting for all of this to reopen, and unfortunately we don't have a crystal ball. We can't really say next week we're going back to life as we knew it. It could be another 6 months. We have no idea, right? This is the first time that we have been put in a situation where the entire world seems to be paralyzed. So I would say that people need to focus on those three things that I mentioned: your skill set. And again, that's why I think it's really important to hire a coach. Secondly, don't stop lead generating. Your lead generation is going to probably be a little bit different, where instead of calling, asking for business, maybe we're calling people to find out how are you feeling. Just making those care calls and hearing what people are struggling with, what their challenges are, so that when we go back to life as normal, people will remember that, Justin or Bethany or Kevin were the only ones that called. They'll hopefully remember you and give you business. And then lastly, that mindset is probably the most difficult for a lot of us, because we are starting to get a little bit of cabin fever. We're told to oblige by what the World CDC and the World Health Organization are telling us to do, which is to stay home. And so if you're paying attention and you're listening to what they're telling us, we're getting that anxiety building up. So we have to be a part of a group like YPN that is going to be able to talk about all these things while we're masterminding, to say, this is what helped me out. And we're fortunate to be a part of this group where we can collaborate and be completely transparent, because it does help our business grow. It also helps us personally. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Awesome. Well, and so to kind of that mindset and the YPN in general, just being a group that, is there for its realtors. We were talking a little bit before that you're also, giving back to the community. I think you said you did a feeding the needy. I'm not sure. Kevin, you want to talk on that a little bit? Hold on. There we go. Wait, start over again. Now you're unmuted.
Yeah, no problem. So 2 Saturdays ago now, we actually were able to go out to Tropical Park and help feed 700 families. And this isn't one meal, or this just wasn't one meal. It was a whole grocery list of items, and it wasn't your typical items that you might purchase either. These were healthy fruits and vegetables that we were able to give and distribute. And I got to tell you, the feeling is a good one to be able to give out. And it really kind of puts things into perspective, how many people are affected by this pandemic, and the importance of giving back to your community, because, while everybody's going through this together, everybody's situation is a bit different. And if you're able to give back, now's the time to do it. Not only because it just helps you feel good, but it's because what people would probably do for you if you were in their shoes as well. So it's very important to give back, and we're going to continue to have similar initiatives as long as the need is out there. And just look onto the Miami YPN Facebook page, Instagram page, all that, to see where we'll be next. And we'd love to meet up with you. We'll stay 6 feet apart while we do it in the safest standards possible, but at least we'll be able to give back to the community.
Yeah. So do you have more events like that planned, or just, or is anything else? I think you've mentioned a beach cleanup, or you've done some other stuff like that. I don't know if that's going on right now, but.
Sure. So with what happened in Jacksonville, I think it was open for 2 hours before they shut down the beaches. A beach cleanup is probably out of the question for now until we can at least go past the social distancing phase. We're hoping for that to be July 12th. And if all goes to plan and we're able to be closer to each other, a pool party afterwards would be quite nice. We might have to push back the date for that. The good news is we're in Florida. We get to maintain those warm temperatures past the Memorial Day weekend, so we could host this potentially even in October. But obviously we like to give out to the community whenever we can. I think different years pose different needs for community outreach. This year, we're going to be giving out healthy, nutritious food for now, and then when we can do some better things like clean up all the masks and gloves that people are littering. Maybe we'll do that next. But for now, it seems like food is the way to go and where we'll focus most of our things on. I can't give specific dates right now, but we'll typically be at a different area, different times of the week. So just be sure to look out for our marketing for that.
Is that, by the membership, by the YPN, is that something that there's been a lot of interest in doing those type of community outreach events?
Sure. So especially right now, people, if they're not studying and educating themselves for what may come in the future, people do have a little bit of time on their hands. And as long as they're healthy, as long as they don't have, additional risks that come along with dealing with the pandemic, we encourage them to come out because we'll be wearing face masks, gloves. We'll be taking all the safety precautions necessary to keep you safe and to help your community at the same time.
Very cool.
And Justin, if I can say, this isn't the first time that we're feeding people that are affected by, COVID-19. We have also partnered up with Chapman Partnership in the past where we could be close to people. Obviously we're pivoting. We're trying to be creative in how we can give back. We are stewards of, we're community members, and a lot of us represent a lot of different communities. So it's really important that we are out there showing our support, because we're not just doing community-driven events. We're also political advocates. So whenever we hear from our community members that they need stuff, then we can use that for talking points when we go and fight for our South Floridians in Tallahassee or in Washington, D.C. So we are all in the trenches. And I think that's what is the beauty of YPN. We're not just here for fun. We're here to react to the moment of the now. And so if there's any ideas or suggestions from your viewers or from anyone, we want to hear it, because if we're able to safely bring our members out and volunteer with the proper PPE, the face mask, the gloves, we are going to do it without jeopardizing anyone's health. So yeah, we'll pivot and we'll shift.
You mentioned, lobby, or going to battle in Tallahassee. I sense a political future in your campaign at some point. I don't know, but
I do too.
I see it coming.
No, he's going to have a baby, so he might,
all right,
be focusing on that much, having all that fun.
Congrats. Yeah, no, I think that's awesome. And I mean, and just, I think it just from, the 20 minutes that we've been speaking, I think that maybe a lot of realtors, hopefully, they don't know everything that YPN is doing. And so hopefully this will, because I think it's huge that obviously, yes, the core business is getting out there doing your business, but like you said, we have to pivot, and there's a need out there, and we are, community members first and foremost. So I think it's, I commend you guys for what you're doing. I do, in the little bit of time that we have left, want to talk somewhat just tactical stuff, because obviously, the real estate game has changed a little bit in the sense that, it's harder to go. I don't know what the rules are right now, but Bethenny, it sounds like you're out there still crushing it. So how are you, what's the tactic and behind showing properties and doing all of that? I mean, is stuff still selling? Is people still buying? What's going on?
Well, people still need to move. People still need somewhere to live. So the people that are out there looking right now are just very serious buyers and sellers. If they needed to sell before, now they still need to sell, So I think we're more focusing on what the needs of people are. And we have been taking extreme precaution when it comes to showing and being around people. So there's a lot less activity because we're not just going out for no reason, and we're not just showing any pre-qualified client, right? Condo buildings have definitely given us a lot of restrictions. So you really can't show in most of the condos, but single family homes are still available because you can just use the lockbox and get in and out of those. And luckily for me, prior to Corona actually becoming really serious, I had deals that went under contract. They were all really strong offers. They all went hard pretty much right before all this. So it was either people were going to lose out on serious deposits, or, but they needed to move. Again, they were probably using this as their first residence. They were relocating. So fortunate, the deals that I have, and that's the walkthrough that I'm going to today, they were all like, these people wanted these properties and this virus wasn't going to stop them. But I do have other listings and there's a lot less activity on them, and we're trying to work out different tactics, and we've been doing virtual showings. And as a board for Miami YPN, a lot of our members have been giving really good classes on how to navigate through times like this, such as like there is one of our members who has been closing virtually sight unseen on some of these properties because they've had every virtual tour you can think of, right? So I think it's just all of us coming together to see what's working. And that's why we do these masterminds. And that's why we're constantly on these Zoom calls and webinars, because we just want to learn what everybody else is doing that's working and give it back to our Miami realtors, you know? But there's definitely been some challenges for some people. And then imagine there's new agents that just got into the business that were just getting started, you know, like ready to go, training, wanting to get out there. And I tell them, listen, just because, you know, you might not have any activity or any clients right now doesn't mean you can't work on the back end of your business and building your brand. There's still so many things that you could be working on over the next couple of months, you know? So it's trying to be positive and just trying to just let everybody know you have to find something to work on now. This isn't just vacation time, even though I've been enjoying my time at home because I'm never home. You know, I can't even tell you how many times I used to just sleep, wake up, and I'm gone all day. So I've been enjoying this time, though it has its ups and its downs. I'm just making sure that I'm growing. I think a lot of us individuals on the board, we all have projects and courses and training things that we're working on. So that's all keeping us very busy and being able to be, you know, showing up every day to our audience, to social media. So it's like, if we're not out busy showing, we're still showing up every day by teaching a course or launching a new program that we have, or coaching, right? Some people, like I know Peter coaches a big team. So he has to show up every day at 8 a.m. to coach a virtual team that's all over the US. And though some people are just getting used to that, that's something he's been doing, right? So I think it's just like learning a new way to do things. And I'm now just taking on, like having virtual calls with my agents and still teaching them and mentoring them. So it's definitely put us in a new position, but I like where it's going. And I think there's a lot of these things that we're going to keep with us even when we're out of quarantine.
Yeah, well said, well said. Kev, you know, so on that point, I think you were talking a little bit about courses and online courses and, you know, promotion for myself. I know I recorded a Probate 101 and that's up on the board somewhere. But you guys have a lot of courses up online. Is that, you know, other resources, Kevin, that realtors, YPN members can access?
Sure. Well, everybody can access it right now. We have Zoom links. It's all in our Instagram bio. Just look, each week we'll have it updated. So coming up this Wednesday, we'll have a class with Catherine Ortega, and his first name's Brian. He's a coach with I'm drawing a blank for who Tony Robbins. Sorry, he's a coach with Tony Robbins. So we're just going to be kind of teaching you about mindset, overcoming objections, things like that. And then the week after, if people are having issues with reaching out to their database or finding a sound plan to tackle talking to everybody in their database, we're going to be doing a leveraging your database class that will be on May 6th. So we got some great stuff coming up. Alfredo Morejon and Leo, he's the owner of Remind Pro, I believe, and they'll be doing a class on digital farming. We haven't had a date for that quite yet, but that'll be something that'll be coming out in the future. So I forget which boxer it was. I think it was Mike Tyson. Everybody has a plan until you get hit in the face. Obviously, this pandemic is something that kind of surprised all of us. We're all pivoting right now, like Peter mentioned. And so we're just trying to find the best plan possible to come out of this, because as soon as that green light flashes, everybody's going to be coming out of the gate sprinting. And if you're not going to be sprinting out of that gate, get to the point where you are going to be sprinting, because a lot of people have a lot of things in place and we're just waiting for the gates to go down. So our classes are a great way of getting yourself up to speed and hit the ground running when we finally get the green light from our government.
And you guys are good. That was all really good stuff. Kevin, you know, last thing for you, and then you know, last questions for the other two. But you know, what's best way maybe for people to get involved with the YPN and stay relevant? What would you recommend?
You know, just don't be quiet. simply as that. We have a pretty big platform, and there's a lot of different ways you can contribute. If you're not a teacher, sit in class. But you might have heard something in one class that you might want to bring up in a mastermind to be like, hey, listen, all right, I was told X, Y, and Z, and I did A, B, and C a little bit differently with X, Y, and Z. And now I got this amazing system on my hands. And then somebody in that same group is going to be able to tell you an even better way to improve your system that you've maybe produced thanks to our education. So we have a lot of collaborative insight. We're going to be having a masterclass series where we're going to be watching from the experts themselves. Obviously, we are experts in our own field of real estate in different fields, whether it's short sales, investing, remodeling, loans. Obviously, loans, there's a lot of changes going on there too. So there's a lot to keep up with, but more importantly, your business is going to be different one way or another coming up in the next week, month, now. So it's just important to be ready. And so if it's not a class, it should be some sort of collaborative session that we offer. Or you might have some idea, write us, send us a DM, do whatever it takes to get your message across. And maybe you're even going to make Miami YPN a bit better after we come out of this too. So there's a lot of different ways you can contribute, and the possibilities are endless. We can pivot on a dime, and anything we can dream up, we can essentially make happen. And that's not just for our organization, that's also for your business. So that's why our collaborative efforts are so very important.
Awesome. So what I heard out of that was slide into Kevin's DM. That's what I heard. No, awesome, man. All very good stuff. He was like, I'm out after that. Bethany, so last question for you is, what, you gave a lot of really good stuff, but if you had to maybe pick one or two things, what would you recommend to realtors right now that would be the best thing they could be doing for, to kind of, like what Kevin was saying, get your business ready to come out of the gate swinging when all this is lifted?
It's different because every realtor is at a different level of their life, right? But I would just say, like, look at your own career, look at where you are, and start filling in the gaps. Start working on those things that maybe you didn't have time for when you're out busy showing. Start looking at your business plan. Like, if you were someone that's struggling right now because you're not doing any deals, how can you set yourself up for the future so that you can withstand another disaster happening? Like, that's what I think every business owner is doing. And for new agents, I think it's a great time to start learning, thinking about collaborating or getting on a team or hiring a coach or looking for a mentor. Times like these when you collaborate and work together, that's how you're stronger, right? So, like, I'm reaching out to other agents and seeing how we can work together for the future. So that way, I have a bigger team and I can reach more area and territory. So I just feel like it's just work on those things that maybe you were putting on the back burner because you do get busy with a lot of day-to-day tasks, and try to make your business as automated as possible so you can free up a lot of time for yourself. That's what I'm working on making certain things in my business automated, putting systems and structure in place, because when I was out on the ground working and showing, I really didn't have time to do that. So I'm working on getting like a VA for certain things. And, but that's me, I'm at my level, right? Every agent can be at a different level, but those were the missing pieces of things that I needed and I couldn't work on when I was busy. So I would just advise everybody to look at your business and what were you putting on the back burner and get it done so that when you're out of this, you can just start focusing on making money.
Yeah, awesome. And Mr. Peter, you're talking about mindset and coaching and all of that. I'd be curious, because this is definitely out of a lot of people's comfort zones. Just sitting at home with a spouse and kids, 24/7 can be trying in and of itself. What kind of suggestions, recommendations, or anything do you have to keep in that positive? Because I'm a big believer of that as well. Mindset is what it's all about. Any recommendations or thoughts you have around that?
Sure. Well, I just want to plug Miami YPN, right? Because to me, the reason why I got involved with this organization almost 4 years ago was because of all of that. I needed a reboot with my mind shift. And what I realized with this group very quickly is that we can think outside of the box. And as we're thinking outside of the box, we can also execute. I think that's our secret sauce in all of this, is that we'll come up with a crazy idea and we'll execute very quickly. So for anyone who's looking to get their mind right, I would say get involved with Miami YPN. I didn't start off being as vocal, and quite frankly, if you ask our team, they will tell you that I always push them to be at the, the front stage. Like, I don't need the microphone. I actually don't want it. And it's not really where I feel the most comfortable, but it really is important to get involved, pivot. Don't be afraid to execute on initiatives that you've been thinking about for a long time. Make that happen. The other thing that I would like for everyone to remember, I want to encourage everyone to be kind to one another and use this time to reconnect with clients. I want everyone to reconnect with friends and family that you have not been able to connect with in a long time, right? Pick up the phone and remember just to ask, how are you feeling? When all of this is over and the economy reopens, people will remember that you're the one that called and you're the one that cares. And I think that's where people really should start thinking about how they're going to get out of this. And your mind change really starts, in my humble opinion, with following at Miami YPN via Instagram and just signing up, and then just asking questions and not be afraid, to fall and stumble, because we'll be right there to pick you up and encourage you to keep on going.
Awesome, man. Awesome, guys. That was awesome. So we'll put some links in. Yeah, very well said. We'll put some links when this is posted at Miami YPN. That's the hash, or the tag, to find everybody. A lot of events, a lot of stuff going on. Guys, thank you all so much. Stay safe, stay healthy, and thanks for watching. We'll see you guys soon. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye.